having a compact kit is a big deal for me. I'm gonna balance weight and size. Some things I'm happy if it's a little bit heavier, if it's still compact, and it means that I can have a small kit versus something that might be lighter and is kind of bigger and bulkier. We're gonna go up behind me. There's a series of ridges and 3 peaks that we're gonna go over.
Nice job.
You too, buddy.
So this is peak number 1 of 4.
Just because it is kind of a tough route and there might be a little bit of scrambling, definitely I'm expecting a lot of scree and things like that. Trying to travel pretty light. This is a Durston X-mid Pro 1. It's a really high-end DCF 1-pound shelter. It's supposed to be able to handle some pretty harsh conditions, which we got last night. It was really windy. Guys, the wind has picked up. It is howling.
Tent is ballooning, then collapsing and ballooning and collapsing. Pretty sure I've staked it out well enough. That should hold. I hope I don't get any tears.
Probably one of the windiest nights I've ever spent in a tent, and nothing ripped, so that was a good test. This is a Thermarest Vesper quilt. I've been using quilts for about 15 years. They're so lightweight, they pack really small, and they're surprisingly warm. Quilts on a trip like this are really perfect. This one has a strap system just underneath to keep it wrapped around you. It doesn't go over your head like a mummy sleeping bag, but in a lot of conditions, as long as you have a warm hat with you, you're good to go. Underneath, I'm using the Thermarest X-Lite, my go-to pad for over 10 years now. I'm using a new version that's a big rectangular model, which I just find more comfortable to sleep on. You're kind of not thinking all night, am I gonna fall off my pad? Something that I used to get with quilts would be having kind of a draft around the sides. And I think that happens when your sleeping pad is not wide enough, and especially when they're thick, that there can be this draft around the whole edge of your quilt. Whereas with a really wide 25-inch pad, the quilt wraps around under you, and so far I'm seeing a big difference with that, just, you know, the dimension of the pad, nothing else. My whole sleep system is about 3.5 or 4 pounds for my tent, ground pad, and sleeping bag, which is pretty light and very compact.
Peak number 2 out of 4 done. We were just at
Plugging away.
just plugging away.
That's all it is.
We were just at Bandit over there. Now we're on Outlaw, on Cornwall there, Glasgow.
In terms of clothes, I also try and go pretty minimal. I don't have much spare or extra, so I'm just wearing shorts, merino t-shirt, and I packed in this grid hoodie, lightweight down jacket. So this is a really inexpensive down jacket from Decathlon. I think when I got it, they were selling for 90 bucks. It weighs less than a pound, and last night with the wind and everything like that, that was really worthwhile. Using something like a quilt as your sleep system, you know, the quilt doesn't have anything for around your head, so having an extra jacket just in case, you know, you're pushing the limits of your quilt can be a really good idea. Lightweight minimal rain shell from Bauer. I think it weighs something like 9 ounces or less. Some nylon pants. So these are actually pretty burly, tough nylon pants. They're not light, they weigh about 8 ounces, but I always have a pair of pants on me. Extra things, always a little pair of fleece gloves and a warm hat. So I wore this last night also, and this was really important to have.
So we're just starting to drop down from Outlaw over to Mount Cornwall. Yeah, man. Oh, number 3 of 4. So we're coming down off Mount Cornwall. This is good scree.
This is the good stuff, guys.
It's the good stuff. It's kind of consolidated. It doesn't really slide.
For food and camp gear, water bottle is really simple. 1 liter and just over half a liter Gatorade bottle. That should be enough to carry all my water for a day. Hollow fiber filter. This one is from Platypus. This gives me an extra liter of water storage. The hollow fiber filters are just really fast and simple to use. Much better than something like a pump. I could have gotten away on this trip without a cook system and just brought ready to eat food, but I brought a stove, a small titanium kettle pot. This is my first aid, my toiletries, everything. This comes on every single trip that I do. I keep my headlamp in there. I keep everything essential in there, and that way I can just see it really easily packs away really easily. So blister management, painkillers, things like that, you never know when you're gonna need them, so that's all in here. The Ursack is kind of a compromise in terms of your food storage, but what it means is the animal won't be able to get your food. If one finds it and they mash on it, I don't know if you're gonna wanna eat that after, but they're not gonna get that food reward. It means that you can bring a really small backpack because it packs down so small.
Just about to start our last climb. This one is about 300 or 400 meters also from where we are, but it looks like more than that.
All right, so that's my ground pad, sleeping bag, quilt. Tent poles just go in along one side of my pack. My insulation, tent stakes I put on the outside of my pack, poop kit, rain jacket, have that accessible. Pants I'm not gonna use at all today, so those just get shoved in. That can all get pretty much kind of sealed up roughly. It's just a big garbage bag. Leftover food bag, I'm not gonna use that at all. Cook kit also, I want it kind of out of the way, but I normally pack it close to the top. Forgot to put in my gloves and hat, but those can just go anywhere. And then there's the kind of everything kit, some other snacks. Satellite messenger goes in the front pocket, that's accessible, but I keep it turned off so I'm not using up batteries. That leftover hoodie that I want handy on the top. Camera batteries and stuff like that, lens wipes, got all that here.
This weather that's coming in is definitely gonna hit us. So, gotta get a move on it. Number 4. Last one. We're not gonna hang around up here. Some weather coming in.
Ready to go. Nice little compact kit. Day like today, we're gonna be actually covering a lot of ground. If you're wearing a really big backpack, even if it's light, that kind of connects down to your hips, makes you less agile. These style of packs, which are running packs with a vest style harness, they ride really high on your back, away from your hips. You could probably figure out a slightly lighter kit, but to me, having it really compact is important too.
Banded Peak. 2nd, Outlaw Peak. 3rd, Cornwall. 4th, Glasgow. I didn't talk about my footwear at all for this trip, so I was testing out the La Sportiva TX4s, which are an approach shoe, and you can see my review right here. So that's Mount Glasgow, and we were just up there.